Hello bicycle touring friends, welcome to Bicycle Touring Talk 83. My name is George Slackegg.
The one and only.
And this is me talking about a bicycle tour. Not just any bicycle tour. See, in the summer of 2017, I took a whole summer to cycle coast to coast across Canada. Now I'm posting videos about this tour every Saturday, and yes, even on Christmas Day. A tour of that magnitude is sure to change you, and you'll always long for the freedom of the open road, the way you can experience it only on a bicycle. In the last episode, I was making my way from Fort Frances, Ontario, eastward on Highway 11. Western Ontario is a vast area that can seem endless. Well, even if you were traveling by car, it would still take you days to get to the more populated areas of central Ontario. You're just by yourself on a road through the wilderness with occasional vehicles passing, lakes here and there, and the odd fishing lodge. It was a surprise for me to find two cycling companions along that stretch, let alone a couple I had already met weeks earlier in British Columbia. I ended up cycling to Atikokan together with Marion and Tom. We arrived there in the dark and shared a campsite. The next morning, Tuesday, July 4th, it had rained a little, but it was barely enough to get the tent wet temporarily. By the time I got up, sunshine was on the way. I made instant coffee at the camp and had a sandwich. Marion and Tom had their showers and told me they were going to treat themselves to breakfast at the local diner. That sounded pretty good, so I decided to join them. I had a Spanish omelette, and it was so worth it. After breakfast, we made one more stop at the grocery store. Hey, finally I was able to buy some apples at what seemed like a reasonable price compared to what I had seen throughout the trip. Once again, we hit the road together. The ride was challenging due to hilly terrain and intense sunshine, which nobody complained about, by the way. At one point, we stopped at the side of the road because a lake was accessible. So we were able to dip our feet into the water. A late lunch was at a rest area, which was also situated at a beautiful lake. We all took the time to go for a swim. The first one for me since bathing in the hot springs with Barbara in Radium Hot Springs. It felt great even afterwards. The hills didn't seem so tough for a while. Later in the day, Tom tried to reach the office at a place called Kashabowie Lodge in order to secure a camping spot. He was turned down.
We're full for the week,
they told him. But Tom didn't give up easily. He called them back again and explained that we were just 3 people on bicycles who needed a spot of grass to pitch a couple of tents for a night. That must have piqued the owner's curiosity because now we were welcome to stop by. We arrived in Kashabowie early enough to have plenty of daylight left. The lady at the lodge was very nice. She even spoke in French to Marion and Tom. The lodge really was full, but we were offered a spot just behind the welcome sign. It was all we needed. As we were setting up, we met other people. Some of the guests at the lodge were from Wisconsin and quite curious about how far we had traveled. The lodge was situated right next to Kashabowie Lake. Later, we went down to the dock to have our bedtime snacks. We were visited by a turtle and then a mama duck with 6 little ducklings. For a few moments, it was paradise. But once the sun set, the place got invaded by aggressive mosquitoes, and we had to flee into our tents. I fell asleep quickly. There had been a heavy thunderstorm at night. Once again, I was grateful for having a really good tent. Everything inside was completely dry. The only things that got wet were the ones I had left outside. Aside from some moisture underneath the tent, all was dried up fairly quickly while we were eating breakfast. We had a bench outside a little shed to share between the 3 of us. I still traveled with Marion and Tom for much of the day. There were not many places to stop and rest along the way. At one point, we saw the sign for the village of Shibandwan and decided to follow it into the settlement. There was a post office and community center with picnic tables, and it was just what we had been looking for. As we sat and ate our lunches, a local guy pulled up with his pickup and inquired about our adventures. He said he was surprised to see anyone stop here, and that the local people sure didn't travel on bicycles. Less than 20 kilometers later, we stopped again at the intersection of highways 11 and 17. There was a snack wagon with hamburgers and hot dogs as well as ice cream. Right in front of it, I noticed 2 loaded bicycles, and one setup with a little chariot trailer looked very familiar. The bikes belonged to 2 ladies that Barbara and I had met weeks earlier in Cranbrook, BC. We stopped for some snacks and good cyclist conversation. Marion and Tom had also met those 2 ladies on several occasions, so it was very interesting to swap cycling stories. After the stop, I was a bit concerned about reaching Thunder Bay at a decent time as I had planned to rent a hotel room for the night. There was a lot of stuff to do, like charging batteries and transferring footage, as well as getting some quality rest. At the intersection of Highway 102, I decided to leave Marion and Tom, who wanted to visit Kakabeka Falls. The direct route to Thunder Bay was very scenic, but it started off with some very tough hills. The heat was intense, but the wind was blowing in the right direction, and once I was past the first part, the ride turned to a very fast and easy one, with some nice descents. In town, I found a McDonald's immediately and had a burger and a coffee. I had good luck with Hotwire and found a nice room at a good hotel for a reasonable price. The Econo Lodge was easy to find and had everything I needed. The shower felt great. With my phone plugged into the charger, I made the first phone call of the trip to Barbara. And it was great just to hear her voice. A while later, I went to Walmart to get some snacks. After that, the fatigue really kicked in, and I fell asleep with the TV still going. Thunder Bay is a big city at the shore of Lake Superior. There's only one highway going east from there, the Trans-Canada number 17. All the trucks traveling between central Canada and the western provinces have to take it. Then there's a rugged shoreline with lots of hills and fantastic outlooks of North America's largest lake. What kind of ride was that going to be for a guy on a bicycle? Lots to talk about in the next episode, guaranteed. Join me for it next week. Well, I could say next year. In the meantime, just a reminder that all the videos about this tour up to this point are here in the playlist Bicycle Tour Canada Coast to Coast. Well, have a good transition into the new year, and I'll see you very, very soon, and thanks for watching. Hit that like button once again, and all the best to you.